Hello everyone, this is Sridhar Gare. In this video, I'm going to introduce a crazy feature of generative AI where you upload your picture and it creates a live video of yourself speaking flawlessly. And this is going to change the way we look at online content. It's very tough to tell which is real and which is not. And this is just the beginning of things that is to come. See and enjoy. Thank you. How cool was that? I know there's a little bit of a lip sync issue and then artificial head nodding, but just imagine a little bit of improvement on top of it, and then we won't be able to tell what is real, what is AI generated on the internet. Okay, and I have nothing to do with this video. I didn't have any video with this kind of a image. I uploaded an image and then gave my voice to it, and it basically did the lip sync and created this 30-second video. And this is mind blowing. So this is a bonus for you, and now let's jump into all the latest AI news and Llama 2. Hello friends, I'm back again with the generative AI series, and this time we're going to talk about a Llama 2 model, which is a big news in the AI industry, released by Meta. But before we get there, there are a couple more AI news which are trending right now, and let's jump straight into it. So let me quickly share what I'm going to show to you, and we'll take it from there. So we all know, we heard about Midjourney. Midjourney has been helping us generate kind of images, from the text prompt, and a lot of art is being generated, and Midjourney become very popular. And what is more popular now is uploading an image and making an amazing video out of it. And this is going to just blow your mind. And if you have not already seen this, there are multiple companies which are actually kind of specializing in this. So one is Gen2. If you look at this particular website, it's basically from Runway research, and this is all about using AI to create original content, but not so original, because it can create videos that did not exist about you using your voice. So I've tried this, and I'm going to actually link that video that I created, like 30-second video on this tool. But this is just mind blowing. If you look at this, some of the examples here, here is the input image that you're looking at, and with some vintage image of a person, and then see the output video. It's kind of depicting that user's experience in a real life scenario. Look at one more here again. There's the input image of the yacht, basically, or a boat, traveling in a bay. And here, the real life video, you can see the water moving, you can see the boat moving, just unreal. This is one more example. And there's a storyboard. Here we took a video of certain notebooks. And in the storyboard, you're basically building the entire actually blocks of buildings that you can actually see right there, and I can actually move around. Here are the books, and here are the buildings there. Just the way videos are getting generated is so real. This is the mask. Basically, you have on the left side, you basically have an input video of the dog, walking around in your lawn, and on the other side, you basically, have it's a white fur, but then the fur with black dots. So there are a lot of such videos, I saw, and the video I'm going to basically put it there, and you'll see that the content on the internet, the going forward, will be different from what we know from the world. So you will not be able to tell, which one is real, which one is not. It's exciting and scary at the same time. Like I always say, companies like Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI are actually working with the U.S. government to see if we can add a watermark on the AI generated content, so that the people can distinguish what is the original versus what is AI generated. But if not, then currently when we create videos out of from a image, there is a little lag. You could actually kind of figure out the head nodding, and the lip movement, syncing is not perfect. But that's what the special thing about AI is. It's like a movie's trailer. When the trailer is coming out, it is only 3 minutes, but then it is going to tell everything about the movie that's going to come a couple of months later. Same thing with AI. If you see something, then 2 months later, it's going to blow your mind, and you'll not be able to tell which is what. Okay, so that's about Midjourney and Runway 2. So in other news, basically, OpenAI kind of announced that they have something called Frontier Model Forum. What is Frontier Model? So there are a lot of models available on the internet. Different companies are coming up with the LLM models, but the Frontier models are these which are very, very large, which has the potential to change the way world is going. So which means the models that are trained on trillions of parameters and billions of parameters and trillion of tokens. And these are the models we are talking about. They're called frontier models, according to OpenAI. And any company that is building these is kind of invited to come and join this consortium, and so that you can actually build a responsible AI. To start with, Anthropic, Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI are launching the Frontier model, an industry body focused on ensuring safe and responsible development of frontier AI models. So this is what OpenAI is talking about, and here is the entire text. You can actually go through it. Um, and membership criteria is basically the forum defines frontier models as large-scale machine learning models that exceed the capabilities currently present in the most advanced and existing models, and can perform a wide variety of tasks. And if you go down, there is also invitation for other companies to actually come and join. So in coming months, Frontier Model Forum will establish an advisory board to help guide in the strategy and priorities and all the good stuff. So as you can see, a lot of information and a lot of efforts are being put on building a responsible AI in our path to ASI and AGI. And if you're not sure what is artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence, please read my LinkedIn articles, which were released a few weeks ago. I'll link down below. But that's the journey we are on right now. 2027 is when AGI is going to happen. 2030 or 2032 is when ASI is going to happen. That's when AI systems is going to surpass human intelligence as a whole. The entire planet's 7 billion humans will be surpassed by the intelligence of AI. And before it happens, we want to make sure that we actually put some guardrails in. That's exactly the effort that's going on. Okay, so before again we jump into the Llama, one more news. So NVIDIA comes up with Ethernet switch, the network switch called Spectrum X, and this is pretty fascinating because, see, like I said in my last video, it's about GPUs are the new oil in the AI world, and that's exactly it is. So the hardware and infra is no more commodity, and that's what is going to actually drive your innovation. Your AI innovation directly is proportional to the GPU capacity you have. But then GPUs are connected via the network, and so NVIDIA does just that. So they basically come up with this fast Ethernet networking platform. You will not believe, you basically are talking about, so I will again put the links down below, but if you look at it, you're talking about 800 gigabits per second throughput per port, and we're talking about 32, 68 ports, 120, 64, 128 ports. And this is going to again revolutionize the connection of all the GPU based machines in your data center, and that's going to take the overall compute to totally the next level. So this is just mind blowing. So NVIDIA just came up with this, and just can't wait to see the action on this one. Okay, so with this, let's jump straight into Llama 2. So Llama 2, Meta, Facebook parent company came up with Llama 1 some time ago, which was supposed to be for training and R&D purposes only. We have used it, and it had very basic capabilities. Now Llama 2 comes and with a lot of bells and whistles, and it's very important. And I'll also tell you why it is important. Is It's a very powerful LLM, the likes of OpenAI or any other commercial LLMs, but it is free. And Llama 2 also comes with a license for commercial usage, which means you can actually use it in your business, and basically make money out of it. So why it is important is and also scary is that it is a very powerful tool in hands of just the internet. and that's why it is kind of scary. So imagine that a open LLM, created by Stanford University or any other, smaller body with, few billions of parameters. That's one thing. The research does cost money. GPU does cost money. So not a lot of people can put something, very significantly expensive or powerful out there in the internet. But Meta, the trillion-dollar company, uh, puts all their money and research, like, behind this for years of research and puts out there for free, and that's what is scary. So it's important that a model like this has better governance around it. But then it's out there free and people are using it, so you're open to use it as well. So if you just go to ai.meta.com/llama, you'll actually see the entire information about it. There's also download model button. You can just go and download it. So there are actually total four variants. One is a 7 billion parameters, 13 billion parameters. There is something that there is a 34 billion parameters. It's not listed here. It is actually right now being tested, and there's also 70 billion parameters. So it's also, you can see that it's all trained in 2 trillion tokens. Okay, and a context list is 4K. So these are all like really premium features. So if you're talking about a free LLM and with this kind of parameters, I think it's like it's going to tell about like things that is going to come in the future. So and you also see a lot of benchmarks here. I'll also link another white paper that Meta released with the full details. Like, it's about 77-page long, and I went through it, and it's like a fascinating amount of details, including what is your carbon footprint while we run these models, which I think is pretty awesome. So on the benchmarks, if you look at it, there is a Mosaic MPT, and there's a Falcon, there's a Llama. You also have different variations: 7 billion, 13, 30, 70. But if you just look at the first three columns, right, you just compare same 7 billion, like apples to apple comparison. There are multiple different parameters that you can see. Llama 2, which is the third one, is kind of outperforming most of these models, and which looks pretty fascinating to me here. As you go down, you'll see more and more information here. And here is a white paper I was talking about. This is a fascinating amount of detail in terms of what exactly the number of tests that they have done on this particular model, and how do you download it and how do you use it. But if you look at it, see the violations, what is safer versus what is not. It's basically safety human valuation results for Llama 2 chart compared to other open source and closed source models. Like, you basically compare with the open source, closed source, and see like this kind of comparison between both. Another thing to note is all of Llama models have two variations. For example, you take a Llama 7B, 7 billion parameters, you basically have a Llama 7B and 7B chat. So 7B chat is like chat GPT, where you have a human language interaction where you'll be able to talk to it. Or if you basically just go with the 7B, then you'll be able to interact using APIs, and then programmatically you'll be able to do it. So each model has both variations as well. So I'll jump into a quick, probably a slide which basically talks about a few other features so that you get an idea. So Llama 2 model comes with a license that allows the commercial usage, which is a special news of of the season, because since this is going to be an open source, it was only being used for R&D in Llama 1, but Llama 2 is something that any company can actually go and use it. But there's a small caveat. So it can only this license will only work if you have equal or less than 700 million users. And if it is beyond that, this license will not work, which means you'll not be able to use this model. I think the reason this was made is, I think Meta is kind of targeting companies like a Telegram and a few other companies which have more than 700 million users, to not to compete with them using their own LLM. And that's what I could think of. But I think anybody who has less than 700 million users, which most companies are, will be able to freely use it. Like I said, there is a 7, 13, 34, and 17 billion. And then there are, again, like I said, there are fine-tuned LLMs, basically Llama and Llama 2. Llama 2 chat is basically, dialogue optimized chatbot. And they're like, all the models are trained on 2 trillion tokens, all the variants, and the token size of roughly 4K, which is, I think, roughly 3,700 to 3,800 kind of words that generally kind of fit in. Um, so another important thing is that Meta made Llama 2 available on Microsoft and AWS at the same time, and I'm also hearing it's going to come on the Google as well sometime in the future. So this is very interesting. So they're making it really open. So and Microsoft, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, announcing that the Llama is going to be there in their ML libraries. That was a very interesting announcement. So I went and saw on Azure portal. You basically will see this model. You'll be able to download it or run it in the as a pass offerings right there, or you'll be able to kind of hire or a provision of VM, GPU-based model, and then be able to run it on top of it. Okay. Yeah. And then Qualcomm has announced that it'll make Llama 2 model available on Snapdragon, and it should be available on desktops, mobile devices, and desktops as early as 2024. But even now, you have Windows versions of it, a Mac version of it, and you have Linux version of it. You'll be able to happily run on your laptop and be able to test this out. Right. So that's about overall the Llama and how it took the world by storm. And this is the kind of example of what the things that are going to come. If large companies like Meta and putting all their money and the research behind it and able to come and give it to us for free, it's good and interesting both, because you'll be able to do wonderful things, hopefully, but powerful things, and hopefully wonderful things with this. And it's going to kind of revolutionize the R&D in many different fields. And I think it's going to only accelerate the entire journey I was talking about in my previous articles. So that was great stuff about NVIDIA, great stuff about what OpenAI is doing on the governance and everything else, to actually start a frontier model consortium forum. And now we are talking about Llama 2. So I think there are a lot of other cool, the open source LLMs coming in. If you are keen, just go to Hugging Face, and then there is a leaderboard, and you'll be able to see the continuous benchmarks that they are doing on it, like how it is. So having said that, I would say that GPUs continues to become, the scarce resources. We continue to struggle to get them. So NVIDIA A100 chip has been the flagship. Now we have H100 chip, which is probably 4 to 6 times more powerful and faster than A100 chip. But it's also more cost effective, especially if you have high loads that you're talking about. But all in all, I wish and I hope that you'll be able to use all this information to be able to build compelling use cases for your customers on your platforms, and leverage AI, generative AI, to be able to win in the marketplaces, and also personally build your brand very powerful. So with this, I'm kind of concluding this. But in the upcoming video, I'm going to talk about if you are a enterprise CTO or a CIO of a billion-dollar company, maybe 500 to a billion, 500 million to a billion-dollar company, and SaaS product company, hopefully, and leveraging generative AI. I will basically come up with some tips for you to be able to build some kind of a lab plus online presence, so that your business is not impacted when you're actually running shortage of AI cycles. So how do you actually use a combination of open source LLMs and commercial LLMs and be able to stitch your use case journey? So in case if there is an outage, in case there is a shortfall in the LLM availability, how you should you'll be able to continue to run your business without impacting your end user, and how do you actually create that insurance policy, right? I'll build that for you in the next video. But until then, I hope this was useful, and see you in the next video.